Hi, soulmates. Welcome to class. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to sew a short circle dress, or a short flare dress. But it's going to be a sleeveless dress. I'll send a picture of the dress that we're making while sending this. So I'm using a 3 years of fabric to make this dress because it's not going to have hands. So I'll just manage these 3 years to make it. It's not going to be a full circle or a full flare. So in order to start making, I have my 3 years fabric like this. So for you to be sure of how you're going to fold your fabric, you hold the side that is the length part of your fabric. It's usually 45 by length. The length side of your fabric, you hold it like this. Take the other end, that is from your right side, from your left side, return it to your right side. Return it to your right side, you form a circle dress. So if you return it to your right side, you have formed circle. But what I usually do, I like to make my work faster and easier. So I have fold it, and I have one circle that is for the front alone. So what I'm going to do, for me to cut both the back and front at the same time, from where this one ends, that is here, from where my first folding ends, I will take it from there and fold it in two. Make sure I have my fabric fold in two this way. So when I fold it in two, so it's giving me the opportunity to cut it both the back and the front. So I have it this way. This is the 1 and 2. So it's giving me the opportunity to cut both the front and the back at the same time. So after folding it, you look at this other end that is not cut or that is not open, this place. So I'm taking from there, take from this other side, return it to your right side. That's from your left to your right side. When you return it from your left to your right side, you have it folded both the back and the front, just the way I'm doing it. And it will also give you the space for your zip allowance. Like I have just folded mine like this. Alright, this is what I have in my folding. So when you have it folded this way, I have my front, this is my back, because it will have zip at the back. So that's why I'm folding it this way. Why am I folding it all together? Because I want to cut both the front and the back together. The measurement is equal. So no need of me wasting my time or wasting my pieces of fabric, wasting time in cutting it. After doing that, what I'm going to do is to take my measurement, that is from my waistline, that is half length, from my waistline to the nail where I want the skirt or the dress to stop. From my waistline to my nail, that is half length of it. So I'm going to take the measurement of it from my waistline. So my length, the length of my dress is 42. The length of my dress is 42. That is from shoulder to where I want the length to stop is 42. The half length from shoulder to the navel or above the navel is supposed to be above your navel, not below. If it's below your navel, it will not give you 50. So it has to come above your navel, like 1 inch or 2 inches upper, depending on your shirt. But don't let it go below your navel. So to the particular measurement I'm using, it is 17 inches because the person wants it to come above her navel. She has a big tummy, a little. So if you come above your navel, that's why it's a flare or a circle dress. It covers your fatty belly. That's why it has to come up. So if I minus 17 from 42, whatever it gives me is what I'm going to use to cut this circle part. I repeat, if I minus 17 inches from 42, whatever it gives me is what I'm going to use to cut this circle part. So you're going to minus your own from your length. You minus the half length. The half length, I'm repeating it from shoulder to above my navel for this particular dress. From my shoulder to above my navel. So whatever measurement I have from the shoulder to above my navel, I will minus it from what I got for my full length. So whatever it gives me is what I'm going to use to cut this circle part. Okay. After that, what I'm going to do now is I'll first of all get the circumference of my waist, the circumference of the waist of the dress I want to make, which her waist circumference is 41. Her waist circumference is 41. And remember, I told I fold this in 4 places. So 41, I'm going to divide it by 4. Whatever it gives me is what I'm going to use as a circumference. For me to get the length, I will come from the upper part of this fabric that I folded. That is from there where I folded. This is the head, and that place is the down. So I'll come from here, I'll measure from there to here. That is 14. I'll take it the length 14. This 14 is what will give me the circumference of my measurement. I'll take it round 14, 14 all round. All right, this is 14 all round. So if I measure the 14 all round, then I'll be sure that what I have will be enough for the circumference of what I am making of my waist. So her waist circumference is 41. So you come to this particular one, this one that is the front. I would start from there to measure it round to be sure I have the circumference complete. So what I have here is 11, meaning it's giving me 44. This 44 is enough for me to use to sew the waist and also get allowance I'm going to use to shape it by the side. Then when I'm done getting this circumference, if it's not enough, what I measured is not enough for me for my waist, I will just bring it down by 1 inch a little. That's the method, the easy way I use. I'll just bring it down by 1 inch a little. But if it's too big, it means you will take your hand up a little. Just make sure that it's not bigger. Whatever that will be left by the side is what you're going to use as your allowance. That is 1 inch allowance. So assuming that what I have here is 44 and I'm getting the measurement of 38, it means this is too much. Instead of making 14 inches length from the waist, I will do it 12 inches. If I do it 12 inches and get the circumference, measure it to be sure that it will give you what you want. You get it? So afterwards, from where I mark on my waist here, from where I get as my waist circumference, that's when I will now come and start measuring to get the length of my dress. So away from it, I'm taking away from it. I told them my half length is 17. I'll just come to the waist, place 17 on the line that I have marked. I'll just come to the waist, place 17 on the line that I have marked. This 17 that I'm placing on the waist is telling me that I still have something to join at the upper part. So that one I'm going to join at the upper part is the half length. That's the measurement of it is 17. So just push your fabric upper a little. Get 42. That is the length of the dress I'm making. 42 inches. That is here. I'm leaving 1 inch for sewing allowance to fold it down and to also join it on the waist. So I'll follow it like that from the line of the waist circumference 17 to the length where I want it to be. This time around is 43 because of the sewing allowance or the hemming allowance that I want to do. So you do it like that all round. You do it like that all round. Keep shifting it 17 to the waist, then to the length 43. If you cannot do it this way, what you just do is to minus 17 from your 42 inches length. Whatever it gives you, you start from the beginning with your tape head like this. You start from there and start measuring it. Like assuming now 42 minus 17 is giving me 26. With the allowance that I have, it's giving me 26. So I will just start from here and start measuring 26, 26 round the waist to form the circle shape. Then afterwards, I will go ahead and cut it. Like I told you, you will not remove this. This is serving as my zip allowance. So I'll cut both the back and the front together. So I'm cutting it straight from the waist circle. Then I will come down and cut the length down. Alright, I'm done cutting it. If you want to leave it this way, you can leave it this way and just join it round. But I don't usually leave that like that because the clients I'm making it for will require a little adjustment sometimes. Most of them do add, so I don't leave it that way. I will come by this other end. Here, mind you, be careful where you're going to cut. This one is having the center part. This is the center front of my skirt. Then this is the center back that has zip allowance. As you can see, I'm giving it a notch so it will give me a direction of where I'm going to put it. Then come to this other end of it and cut the two of them together. Sorry, the four of them. Cut it at once. So to separate it, as I've cut it, I have the front separate and I have the back in 2 pieces. So I will just go ahead and cut the upper part of the dress. Okay, having cut the down part, I'm going to cut the upper part of the dress now. So remember, it's always unfold. So I have folded my fabric to the limit that it will be enough for me. If you want to be sure, you use the bigger part of the place you're cutting, which is her bust circumference. Her bust circumference is 43, so you can just use it. 43 divided by 2, sorry, 43 divided by 4 will give me 11.2. So you can just measure to be sure of what you want. You can just measure to get what you want. But what I have here, I'm having 15 inches folding because I will leave allowance by the side. So all together, I'm going to go ahead and cut the length. So I told you what I minus from it is 17 inches away from the full length. 17 inches. Please, I don't usually leave these written figures. All this is the rope. I don't usually leave it. So I'll go ahead and use my ruler to eliminate it from it. Just mark a straight line to give your work a neat stitch so that it will not look rough or look odd. So what I have, I'll remove the thing. I will now come and measure again. 17 inches is the length that I want. I'm going to join it on the shoulder, and as well I'm going to join the half length to the circle flare I cut. So it means I'm taking half inch to the shoulder, half inch to the waist. So it means I'm leaving 1 inch to the length down it to add to the allowance. So instead of making it 17, I'm making it 18. So when I'm done measuring the 18 inches, mark your chop. Mark your chop, make a mark, make it straight. Make sure you use your ruler to connect to make your hand straight. Okay, then I will now come and take her breast dart. That is from her shoulder to her nipple point. Her own is 11 inches. From shoulder to a nipple point, 11 inches. This place gives me the point, the direction that this particular place is a point I'm going to measure for my bust circumference. Okay, then afterwards I will come and take the shoulder to under bust where her bra length ends, under her breast where the bra stops. That is where I usually measure from shoulder to under bust. Her own is 15 and a half. So I'm marking it 15 and a half. Then I will use my ruler to also connect it. This has given me a direction of where to take all the circumference of this dress that I'm going to make. Okay, then having done that, I will now come and start measuring my circumference. This is the breast that is where I measure the 11. So I'm going to take the bust circumference, which is 43. 43, you divide it by 4. 43. I told you how you're going to be dividing your measurements. When you have 43 like this, you take your tape head, return it back to the 43. Return it again to see how many inches it has given you when you return it in 2 places. So it's giving me 21 and a half. Then I'm returning it back again. So from it, I will now look at what it gives me. It's giving me 11 points. So it's giving me 10.75. You understand? Almost 11. So that's what I'm going to use to get it. So I'm cutting it 10.75. Okay. Then under my bust is 36. Under the bust is where I measure from shoulder to under bust. That is where I measure 15 and a half. So her 36 divided by 4 gives me 9 inches. Okay. Then her waist circumference is 41. I want it to be very firm on her, so I will make it 40 instead of 41. 40 divided by 4 gives me 10 inches. Alright, then you connect it together. You connect from the bust circumference to that and you connect it together. So I've done that. Okay. Alright, then having done that, so what I'm going to do now is to take her shoulder measurement. Shoulder to shoulder measurement has is 17 inches. In shoulder measurement, you don't divide by 4, you divide only by 2. 17 divided by 2 will give me 8 and a half. 8 and a half. So this is 8 and a half. I'm not going to leave sewing allowance because it's going to be sleeveless, so no need of leaving sewing allowance. So I'm giving it exactly 8.5 for her sleeve. Do you understand me? So it will just be on her sleeve. Then to get my armhole length, before you get your armhole length, remember to slope your shoulder. I'm sloping my shoulder by half inches. Okay, I'm sloping my shoulder by half an inch. You slope your shoulder by half an inch. Then I will now get my armhole length. My armhole length is, to calculate the armhole length, you use your bust circumference to get your armhole length. What I usually do, if the person's breast depth is 10 inches, I will minus 2 inches away from it to get my armhole length. But in a proper calculation, what you will do is to divide 43 by 12. Okay, like I said, to divide it, you use your bust circumference divided by 6. When you divide your bust circumference by 6, you add it 1.5 inches. Like this one now, what I got is approximately 9 inches. But my proper measurement I usually use, like I told you, I used to minus 2 inches from my bust depth, which is from shoulder to my nipple point. So whatever it gives me, if it's 11, I minus 2 inches from it, which will give me 9, like I told you. So it's also giving me 9 because from the breast, the measurement I have here, I have 11. So 11 minus 2 inches, it gives me 9 inches. So when you want to also divide the appropriate way, you divide your bust circumference by 6, add it 1.5. Whatever it gives is what you're going to use to get your armhole length. So in my armhole length, from where I slope my shoulder, is where I'm going to take the measurement of my armhole length, which is going to give me 9 inches here. So I've marked it 9 inches. Please do take the straight line, or rather use your ruler to connect it. Then I will now come again and connect it straight with my ruler. Connect it straight with your ruler. Okay, this is what I have done. Then I will now come and take the middle point of my armhole, that is from this particular shoulder to where the armhole length is, which is 9. Middle point of it is 4.5. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. Then I will now come in by half an inch or 1 inch, depending on how you want the sleeve to be. So this is a sleeveless, so I want it to lap very well. So I'm going in by 1 inch on this particular one. Do you get me? So in the middle point of your armhole length, you come in by 1 inches. Do you understand? Then you now use your French curve to connect. Okay, use your French curve or your armhole curve. So I'm using my pattern master. I have armhole curve in it, so use it to connect it. Make sure you connect from middle points that you have. You connect it out to your armhole point, connect and come to the shoulder point. So this is what you will get. I believe that you can see this very well. Let me view it. Okay, this is what you will get at the end of it. So afterwards, then I've cut everything. So I'm going to create the neck. I'm going to now cut the neck. The style I'm making is a V neck. So I'm going to make average measurement of my depth of the neck depth is 6 inches. That is the depth from shoulder to below your breast point. That's the depth of it. I'm using 6 inches. But remember, I'm going to join it on the shoulder, so I'm adding half inch allowance so that it will not be too much on it. Then by 3.5 inches, that is the width. The width of it, I'm using 3.5 by 6.5 inches. Now I'll just use my ruler to connect it straight to form the V shape that I want. So from what I have here, my upper dress is red because it does not have that. It doesn't have that on this particular one. It's a dartless dress. So what I have here, I'm just going to add my allowance to it. So I'll go ahead and do the cutting. You leave like 1 inch allowance or 2 inch allowance depending on how you want it to be. You watch that I cut everything together, both the back and the front armhole, because it's a sleeveless. That is why I have to cut everything together. So I'm done cutting my upper part. This is it. All right. So I'm going to just go ahead and use this particular one to trace the back side of it. It's going to be the same measurement. It's going to be the same measurement. The only difference is that it will have zipper allowance. Place it on it. All right. Make sure you leave your zipper allowance of 1 inch that you did on the down part of it. So just go ahead. Now I want to take your mind to this. The back has a high neck. The back neck have a high neck. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut my high neck instead of making it V the same way I did on this other one. So my high neck is going to be, the width is going to be the same thing. It's only the depth that will be different. The width of the neck, both the front, is going to be the same. It's only the front, the length, which I'm doing this one by 1.5 inches. I'm doing it by 1.5 inch. So use your French curve to connect the neck, because it's not going to be V shape, it's going to be on a round shape. All right, so this is it. So I'm just going ahead to cut it. Okay, here I am. I have my back ready and I have my front ready. This is the front. Okay, here is the front, here is the back side. So I'll just go ahead and cut the line that I'm going to use to turn it. I will definitely turn it with lining. So what I have, I'm just going to go ahead, cut the lining the same shape as it is. Then the down part of it, I will equally cut lining, but I'm not going to turn it fully. I'll equally cut the lining, but the lining of my down part will be 2 inches shorter, or even 3 inches shorter than the length of my circle skirt that I've just cut. So after cutting the lining, I'll go straight and sew the dress. Please, in sewing this V-neck, most people usually form a U shape in sewing the V-neck. Make sure you follow the shape of your V straight to the points that you cut it. Then you make sure your needle is holding your fabric inside. You lift your foot up, turn it this way, then follow it straight. Don't give it a curve shape, because if you give it a curve shape, it's not giving you, except if you want it to not give you V, sorry, except if you're making your own a leg. This is what I have in the shape. Then you go ahead and give it a notch so that it will relax easily. On that center spot, give it a notch. Be careful not to cut your stitch. That's it. I'll go ahead and do a top stitch on my neck to help my fabric to relax very well. Here is the outcome of my neck after sewing. Okay, this is it. So I'll go ahead and turn the neck of the back before I will now join the shoulder together. Okay, here is my back. So I'll place my fabric on top of the lining that is facing front on top, the same way to this other side. I'll go ahead and sew the neck round. I'll as well do notching as well and do top stitch. Here is the outcome of the back. Okay, this is the back. So I'll just go straight, join the shoulder, shoulder of the front, the shoulder of the back. You just go ahead and join the shoulder together. This is my shoulder. I'll just go ahead and do it fabric to fabric, then lining to lining, like this. See as I'm holding it. This is my back, this is the front. I'll just hold it this way, fabric to fabric, lining to lining. Don't go and join it this way because it will not allow you to turn the arm, the sleeveless. So I'm going to join it fabric to fabric because I'm going to turn the lining from inside, as in the sleeveless from inside. So you just hold it this way, the way I'm holding it like this, and as well the lining this way. You join the two of them together. This is what we have afterwards. So this is the front view of it, and here is going to be the back view of it. So I'm going to go ahead to turn the armhole. This is what I have. So first thing first is to turn the armhole. Okay, here is the armhole. So I'm going to sew the armhole like this place. I'm going to sew it from inside. So how am I going to sew it from inside? I'm just going to go ahead, hold it this way to sew. Make sure that your shoulder to shoulder that you join, the shoulder to shoulder that you join is interfacing each other like this. This is what I have. This is the line that I joined the fabric. This is the one I joined on the lining. So make sure that it's facing each other, is on the same point. So I'm not sewing it all from the end. So I'm just starting it halfway this way. Start from half of it and sew to the end. go ahead and notch, please do notch so it relax very well. If you did not notch it, the lining will be coming out from the front. So if you notch it, you go ahead and turn it. See, turn it this way from here. Okay, so one side of the armhole has been closed this way. Then I'm going to go ahead to close this other side of the armhole. How do I do it? Putting my hand inside, because I have space here. Putting my hand inside to pick the allowance that I used to stitch the other one. So if I pick it, I'll turn it out this way and sew to the end. Please also give it a notch. Afterwards, you turn it. This is the outcome of my armhole that I've closed. This is the outcome of the armhole. It is sewn from inside. So afterwards, you go ahead and sew the other side of the armhole. Then we'll join it together. Okay, having sewn the armhole, so I'm going to go ahead and stitch the fabric and the lining together all round. To hold them together, just stitch to hold them all round. From the side, the waist, the other side, the back side of it, just stitching it to hold it firm. Okay, everything is now ready. So I'm just going ahead to join my circle flare. I'll just go ahead and join my circle skirt to the half length I've just prepared now. Notch the center of your skirt, including the lining. Then I told you I will cut lining, but my lining is not going to be the same length with my fabric. My lining is about 3 inches shorter than my fabric, and I don't want to turn the lining with the fabric together to turn it from inside, so it will not make it stiff. So this has to flare to move freely, because if I turn it with the lining, it will make it stiff. It will look as if it was padded, and I don't want it that way. So I'm just putting that lining to cover the transparency of this fabric. So that's I'm just adding it. So on the waist point, you give a notch on the center front, the same thing on the lining. Then you now come to your half length bodies. You do the same thing. You do the same notch on the center. So this notch will give you a direction of how you're going to attach it. So I'm just going ahead to fix my fabric, placing my fabric, the circle one down on top of it like this. Okay, the front is facing the front. I'll go ahead and face it that way. Then for the lining aspect, it's going to be underneath it. The lining will be under it like this. Okay, look at it. This is my circle lining, and this is my half length bodies on top of it. Then this is my circle skirt, so on top of the half length bodies. So I'm just placing the notch that I notched each of them together, making them 3 lines that I'm going to join. Just take it 1/2 inch that I leave as allowance to sew it. turn the other side and you sew it also to the end. So after that, this is our outcome. This is the result. Okay, this is the result of our dress. This is it. So when you turn the back inside, look at it. Unlike when you will join, you'll be seeing the stitch of your half length, the stitch that you stitch at the back here, but here you're not seeing it. That's why I covered it. So it is inside it that you'll be seeing that allowance. So you go ahead and do the same thing to the back side. The same thing I did at in the front is what I will do at the back of it. So I'm just going ahead to do the same joining, placing the fabric of it on top of the half bodies, then the lining under the half bodies to cover the stitches that you're going to stitch. So here is also the outcome of the skirts, of the back, sorry. So this is the back view. Inside it, this is the front view. So the next thing I'm going to do is to hold the back and the back of it together to close for my zip allowance. I'm just going to hold it to close for my zip allowance. So I'm going to make sure that your half lengths connect to each other. Okay, the zip length is usually from shoulder to 24 or 25. That is average measurements. From shoulder to 24 or 25. Maximum for average measurement is 27. That's for those who are tall. So I'm going to go ahead and do this 125 for her. That is average measurement I am using. So from my shoulder, where I have joined together like this, I'm going to measure from there to take 24 inches as the length, sorry, 25 inches as my zip length. My zip length means where my zip is going to stop. You understand? This is what I have here. I have here 25. That's where my zip length is going to stop. Just give it a mark, either shock or you notch it. So it is from there, it is from here that I have notched. I'm going to now close down. So I will be able to put my zip. So I'll go ahead and close it down first before putting my zip. Okay, so what I have here, from the 25 that I measured, you can see where I shocked, where I marked my shock. So from there, I'm going to just sew it like 3 inches down a little, 3 inches down, considering the zip allowance space that I leave, that is 1 inch. So I'm taking it 3 inches down. Make sure you stitch very well and end as well very well. Taking 3 inches. I'll just end here. Why did I end here? I want to separate my lining from the fabric. I want to separate my lining from the fabric so that it will not be dragging each other. So what I want to do, go ahead and notch from that particular place that you stitched, that you stopped. I've notched it from the place that I stitched and stopped. I've notched it. You see, it's open now. Then I will now hold the fabric separately to sew. and hold the fabric separate to sew. Okay, I've done that. Then on my lining, I can as well hold it this way to sew, so that my lining will be showing outside. But no, I don't want it to be showing outside, so I want to hold it inwards to sew, so that the lining will go inside. Just a reverse of what you did in the fabric. So just go straight and sew it down. When you sew your fabric together and when you sew it separate, the outcome is not the same. So this is what I have. I've stitched it. This is the zip allowance that I've done. I've stitched the back. This is the one for the lining. I've also stitched it. So they are now separate. So they can move freely. Even when you wear it on your body, they can move freely. So when you turn the inside, this is what you get. So why do I leave this allowance? Because I'm going to extend my zip to this particular allowance. My zip is going to go inside. That's why I just have to close that place. So afterwards, I'll just go ahead and fix my zip. All right, I want to put the zip now. See, look at my zip head. This is my zip head. This is the teeth that you're seeing, and this is the zip cloth. So whatever I'm going to sew it on the zip cloth. Make sure your stitches does not touch the teeth. If it touches the teeth, it will not allow the zip to pass. Most times it's called the zip. So what I'm going to do, I'll just go ahead, remove like 1 inch away from the zip, so that it will give me easy access to fold it or to close it, to do a final closing like this. See how I remove my zip. So I'll just go ahead, open it like this. I usually close my zip to sew, but because I'm just starting it for a stitch, so I will just open it a little to stitch before closing it. You can also open your own to stitch if you can comfortably sew it very neat. Then also use your pin to pin the line that you're going to sew. Remember not to sew away from your zip allowance space. If you go away from it, maybe you go inside, maybe you take it smaller than the allowance that you leave, it will have a bad effect on your zip. But if you take it, the measurement that you take it, that you leave for it, it will balance. So how would you know the proper measurement to take? If it's 1 inch that you leave as zip allowance, please go ahead and use your tape. Measure it 1 inch, mark chalk on it like this. You take it from here, you take it 1 inch inward, 1 inch inward like this, 1 inch inward, 1 inch. You take it 1 inch, mark chalk on it down. Then when you finish marking chalk, you now place your zip on it. The teeth, the zip teeth that you have must be on the chalk that you mark. The zip teeth that it must be on the chalk that you mark. Then use pin and hold it. So when you're sewing it, you go ahead and sew very close to the teeth, not on the teeth exactly, just the way I am doing mine. I'm just taking it gently. So it's now time for me to close my zip, so it will be easier for me to fix. Remember that when I'm sewing, the 3 inches that I stitch while closing it is where I am pushing my zip inside. Okay. Then afterward, this will be my result. This will be my result. I want to go ahead and fix the other side of my zip, the other side of it. So come to the waistline that you join. Come to the waistline that you join. You will see the line that you join. Make sure you give a notch to the other side of it, tracing it to give a notch so that it will correspond when you're joining the other side. Give a notch on the zip cloth this way. See how I notched it? So when you give a notch, you come to the next side as well. You do the same thing, give it a notch as well. This will help you to balance the other side of the zip, so it will not be that one side is longer while the other side is shorter. Then afterwards, I'm going to go ahead to sew the other side of it. I usually start from the center part. It helps me a lot. I usually start from my half length. Okay, so after the place I give a notch to is where I'm going to make sure that it corresponds to this other side, it connects to this side. So I'm going to place it together. Remember to take the measurement that you leave as zip allowance space, so that it will not have a bad effect at the back. So I'm starting from that particular center to sew up, then I will now close to the downside. Then I will come down to close the down part of this zip. So make sure you stretch your material very well. So I'm starting from down as well. I've done the half part, so I'm closing the remaining part of it. You open it very well so that it will not pack excess fabric for you. Okay, here is the outcome of my zip. This is the down, this is it. Here is the outcome of the zip that I fixed. Okay, this is the outcome. There is the neck side. So I'll just go ahead and do the closing of the neck. See, there's the 1 inch that I leave away from it, so I have to close it so it will look neat. When you want to finish, close your zip. See what I have here. See what I have for the zip. So I want to close it so it will look very neat. So you turn it this other way. So you turn it this other way, bend it in. Bend it inside the way I'm bending it, like this. Okay, all right, this way. Then you gently turn it to the front, as the inside, to bring out to the front. This is what I have. This is it. So I'll just go ahead and stitch on it. Okay, I stitched both the fabric and the zip together. If I don't want to stitch it, I'll just go ahead and do tacking. Use my hand needle to do the tacking and tack on it. So whichever one that is convenient for you, you can do. So when you're done fixing the other side, close your zip to be sure that when you want to do the other side, that is, it will be on equal size. If you did not do that, you might end up having one side smaller. So you close it. Make sure you use your shop to give you a direction so that the zip will balance very well. So I've marked my shop. I'll go ahead and open it a little, then go ahead and bend it. The same way you did to the other side is what you're going to do. When you bend it, make sure you open your fabric very well so that it will not gather. Okay, I'm done. This is what I have here. Okay, this is what I have here. This is the outcome of it. So I will zip it up. When you zip it, you see the neck, the back neck as it is. So after that one, I'm just going to go ahead and do the shaping. That's the final work. I'm going to go ahead and shape my dress. Okay, here is a very important aspect of this class: shaping of a cloth, a shaping of a dress or a blouse or skirt. It's very important because it is the shaping that you now bring out the body shape of your clients or yourself. So it is from the shaping that you now give the final finishing. Meanwhile, when you have finished doing every other part, like if you watch the inside of our work here, you see everything is done from inside except for the zip side, which I'm going to weave. So then I'm going to do the shaping now. So I'll take my measurement to start doing the shape. Okay, my measurements, like I started with you while cutting it, there's a measurement we'll take. That is a horizontal line of the measurement. Okay, that is the one that I took. So which I'm going to retake again in this particular one. So from my shoulder here, my shoulder point, I'll take again breast dart, which is 11. I'll mark it short. Under bust dart, which is 15.5, I'll mark it short. Then where I have joint is already the waist line. So from this is what I'm going to use. And when I'm shaping, you see how I face the back up. Two of them are together. The two bodies are together. So I'm starting from the back. So what I'm going to do is to come to my waistline and measure, making sure why am I starting from my waistline? And making sure that my half cut is equal. My half cut of the front and the back is equal. That is the most important one. Every error that you need to eliminate, please do. Don't just leave it like that. So I will start from the waistline to do my shaping first. Okay, so the waist circumference of my client is 40. The waist circumference of my client is 40. 40 divided by 4. Remember, it will divide by 4 because 1, 2, the other side is the same thing. So we're dividing by 4. When you divide it by 4, it gives you 10. You start from the zip center. This is my zip center. I will start from my zip center and take it to the other side, this other side of my waist, and start sewing it. It's 40, so I have 10 inches here. So that's where I'm going to start my stitch. The hip does not need fitting because it's a circle dress. So I'm going to start from the waist. Why did I start from the waist? Like I told you, I want my my half length to correspond to. So I'll just sew it like 4 inches below, then I will stop. I'm sewing it 4 inches down, I will stop. The same way I did at the back for the zip. So I will give a notch as well on that particular line that I stopped. I will give it notch. Then come and take the fabric separately like this. See how it is now. See, I've notched it. See my notch as it is. It's open now. So I'm going to hold my fabrics to sew together, the two fabric of the front and the back. I will sew it together. Please, while sewing this particular place, you're not going to take the inches that you have here down. You just take the inches that you have here, then you'll be bringing your hand out. Meaning that as you're going down, you'll be reducing it till like half inch. That is half inch is what you're going to do down to finish it. Don't take, if you start from 1 inch, you now take it 1 inch down. It might reduce the shape of your flame, or you might give it a different shape. So I'm done sewing the fabric side. Then on sewing the lining side, I'm also separating the lining. Why am I doing this? It will help my dress to flow freely without the lining dragging it. If the lining is dragging it, it will have an effect that is not. Okay, I'm done closing the down part. I will now come and shape the upper part, which I'm going to shape the upper part from where I have marked my breast dart or the bust. So from the waist is what I just shaped now. So I'm going to shape the bust, which is 44. 44 divided by 4 is 11. So you put your tape on the center of the zip and connect this way, 44, like this. So just go ahead and do the shaping. Okay, I will shape down, I will stop, then come to the under bust. I own it 36 divided by 4 is 9 inches. I will connect it to the 36, then push it down to the waistline where I have shaped already. Okay. So after I finish, I will now come to this other side, the front. I've sewn it to the front side of it to shape. I've sewn it to the front side of it to do the shaping. I'll still do the same horizontal measurement that I did at the back. The same horizontal measurement I did at the back is what I'm going to still go ahead and do. That is from my shoulder point below 11. Take it 11, then 15 and a half to the waistline. Okay, so when I'm done, I will come to the waistline, which I did before, to the 40 to my waistline. Make sure to stretch your fabric this way. So if you stretch it so that it will be equal. So I will take from this other end that I have already sewn, where my stitches stop. That's where I'm going to start on my waist. This time around, I will divide my waist by 2 instead of 4. I will divide it by 2. 40 divided by 2 gives me 20. So you drag it this other way to this side. You see my 20 inches here. I'm starting from the waist because I want the half length and half length of the back to the front to correspond. So I'm taking it 20. You shake inside it. Make sure that it corresponds so that it will not go up and down. So I will sew it again 4 inches below. Taking it again 4 inches below. I will stop, notch it, or rather cut it. I'm cutting it out this way. So if I cut it, this is what you will get when I cut it. See, it is separate. So I will now take fabric to fabric from here to stitch the fabric alone. So afterwards, I will now go ahead and shape the lining also. Remember I told that you shape the lining inward, you shape it from inside. So I'm turning it the shape from inside. This is it. So I'll have to turn it this way to shape it from inside it. So I'm going to now do this, the upper part of the shaping. So I'm starting from where my stitch stops, this other side again. This side. So I will take it out to this other side. Our bust circumference that I used is 44, which is 44 divided by 2 this time around. I told you when you turn the last side, 44 divided by 2 gives you 22 inches. So I'm just going ahead to stitch here. 44 divided by 2 under bust 36 divided by 2. This time around it will give me 18 inches. Okay, 18 inches. I'll just connect it and then I'll return it to the waist. Just connect it to the waistline. Okay, this is it. So here is the outcome of it. So you're just going to trim off the excess that you're not needing. So in here I'm going to do weaving and at the same time do the same thing to this other side. So I'll go ahead and turn the front view to see the outcome. Here is our dress. The dress is ready. So you can wear it with a shirt or you can wear it only this one like this. Okay. Alright, so be sure you do your own. Take the picture and send to us. God bless you.